The Iraqi Election Commission and the UN representative spent a long time before those results were announced talking about how the results were credible, with the Election Commission saying that any red flag ballots were looked into and discredited if necessary. So it seems that there was a stringent procedure from what they are saying. What is the basis then for the allegations of fraud?
I think we have expressed our concerns about the programming used in the computers of the electoral committee. We expressed our concern about an American employee who works for the UN in the electoral committee. We wanted to publish out the ballots of the polling centers on the website of the committee. These are technical concerns, but as a whole, this election is a success. It's a great success, and even for Prime Minister Maliki's, with his points that he put out, the difference is minor, and it shall not undermine the legitimacy of this election. The UN has approved it. The European Union has approved it. The French monitoring team has approved it. The Arab League team has approved it, and we think these elections went very well. I would like to highlight the vast majority. If you look at the seats of the parliament today, the vast majority of the seats were in favor of democracy, were in favor of the new Iraq, were in anti the Ba'ath, and I think these forces who were able to remove Saddam and establish democracy in Iraq will unite again to form the new government.
Yeah. That's going to the crux of the matter just there, really, though, isn't it, Mr. Abotabekh? When Nouri al-Maliki came out and spoke just moments after the final results were announced, that was one of the points he made. He said, "We will not allow Baathists to come back into Iraqi politics. We were the ones that ousted them." He also said that these results are not final. What do you expect him to do in the next coming days and weeks?
Okay, thank you for your TV for inviting us today. Hello to you and to your guest. What I would like to say, I mean, since the political project in Iraq from the beginning, I mean, this is actually a joke. I mean, when the American invaded Iraq, that was excuse to get rid of the dictator in Iraq, and the Ba'ath party was one section about this party. But now, really, this leader created by chances, they get benefit from other countries, other neighboring countries like Saudi Arabia and others. There is a propaganda say they paid 250 billion to Alawi campaign. Also, they play that in Lebanon. They change the result in Lebanon. Saudi Arabia do the same job. But the Iraqi knows, and the al-Maliki, it was really success within these 4 years. He bring the peace to the Iraqi. He is really success. But also, there is another way of this solution. I mean, we are welcoming the Iraqi. All they welcome in the election. This is the second election. First election was 8 million Iraqi was vote for this government, but now even more Iraqi understand the democracy and they play the game very well. But they've been surprised since they've been elected and given the result day by day. From the 80%, al-Maliki was #1 and is far away from other group. But now the changes. Some people, your guest, said there is a hacker, PC hacker, changed the result. But I don't think the Iraqi now understand the Iraqi parliament, and the old and the new being elected. They never be silent for this situation.
Yeah,
Iraqi also being demonstrated yet.
Yeah, let me just come in here and pass this over to Mr. Newton, who joins us on the phone. So just some differing opinions there, I'm sure reflecting what many different people in Iraq might be saying at the moment. How do you think this will play out? Because Mr. Abotabekh, they're just touching on the demonstrations. We've seen many protests in the week coming up to these results. What do you think the Iraqi people will do coming out of these results?
I think the Iraqi people must be pretty happy with the outcome, and I suspect they won't have a lot of patience with efforts to try to demonstrate against the results when everyone else is saying that it's a success. But it was a very close election, and of course, it's an advantage to Ayad Alawi in a way to be the first person to have a shot at forming a government, but it is not going to be easy, and it's by no means impossible to think that he might not succeed. And then Prime Minister Maliki then might have another chance to form a government. But you've got four major groups, and somehow there'll have to be a coalition of at least two of them, and a better outcome would be to have at least three of them in a coalition. But there's going to be an awful lot of bargaining, a lot of talk, a certain amount of violence, and in the end, we'll see. It'll be at least a month, I should think, and there's going to be a lot of excitement, and we certainly don't really have a clear idea yet who will form the government and how it will be composed. But there are some surprises that you might like to talk about. The Goran in the Kurdish area did very well, which means that perhaps the two Kurdish parties, the traditional parties, are going to have to look inward. Maliki did well in Karbala and Najaf as well as Basra, and of course better in Baghdad. But Iraqi, I think, is the biggest surprise of the election.